Hello, I'm Matthew Fuller. I'm a product engineer with Mountain Equipment. I've been visiting Performance Days for maybe 7 or 8 years, but I've actually had a bit of a gap. I've not been for 3 or 4 years, so we've had a fabric tech she visits, and it's basically been too busy for her, so suddenly more people are going back to Performance Days. It's such an essential part of our sourcing process. It's now something that more than one person from the team has to go to. So yeah, it's a really important show because it's not just fabric anymore. There's some trim suppliers, there's insulation suppliers, there's down suppliers. There's lots of people here that are an essential part of our process. Despite the fact it's a much bigger show than it was certainly 7 or 8 years ago. It used to be you could run around it in half a day. Now this is like 2 full days. It's quite intense, but it's not become like the really big shows where it's all a bit overwhelming. It's a really time-consuming process. It's still quite friendly. It's still got a small feel, even though there's a lot of people here. There's a lot you can do. So yeah, it's a really important part of our timeline. It's an important part of our development process, and we don't think shows like this are quite going to be replaced. I think it's that you just can't get past the feel of fabrics that you can't get in the post. Yeah, you can't do everything online. So yeah, meeting people, you can just get so much more done more quickly. The Trend Forum is a really useful part. Right in the middle of the show, there's an area where there's lots of different fabrics laid out and they've been judged already by other people. So it's almost like having an extra set of hands to help you see everything at the show. So that's really useful. You can save with a QR code on your phone to different things. You can put them in a bag to sort of look at them later. So that's a really useful thing. We use that every year. We just to get a really big overview of what's happening in the show. The expert talks are really useful, that you can watch them online after the show. If you're too busy at the show, you can always watch them later, which is really useful. And I think it's a good way of getting an idea about the future trends that are going to happen in the industry. It's always, what was the big talk at the show is the question we're always asked when we get back to the office. And yeah, it's a good way to get a summary. If I think back to my first shows at Performance Days, sustainability was like a small subtopic, and nowadays it's such a huge part of the industry. Every single stand has a sustainability message, and there's a whole dedicated section, the Sustainability Hub here at Performance Days, where you can get a really good overview of what's going on, and little startup businesses, and sometimes established businesses are all part of that area, so that's another useful area to visit.